Hi and Assalamualaikum. We are from Group 5 and our topic for infographic poster is money laundering and private banking. My name is Nur Zaima Alana binti Zainuddin and my metric number is 272936. First, I will explain to you the meaning of money laundering and private banking. Money laundering is the process of turning large sums of money obtained from serious crimes into origin from legitimate sources. Money laundering is a serious financial crime that is employed by white-collar and street-level criminals alike. Money laundering is essential for criminal organizations that wish to use illegally obtained money effectively. Dealing in large amounts of illegal cash is inefficient and dangerous. Next is private banking. Private banking is the service that offers the personal and discreet delivery of a wide variety of financial services and products to high net worth individual clients of a retail bank or other financial institutions. Services include investing and portfolio management, tax services, insurance, and tax and estate planning. Private banking services almost always involve a high level of confidentiality regarding customer account information. As you work with a portfolio of very wealthy and powerful clients with high-value transactions, there are many inherent risks and factors that contribute to the increased risk and vulnerability when it comes to money laundering.
My name is Nurhani Farhana binti Harmizin. My metric number is 272826. There are many factors or vulnerability of private banking to money laundering. First, offers potentially high returns. Firms are attracted to the private banking business as it offers high potential returns through the provision of value-added services. While these services appeal to legitimate clients with large assets and relatively complex financial affairs, these services often have features that appeal to criminals who have large funds to launder. For example, ease of cross-border transactions, expertise in offshore investment and related services, and the tradition of high quality and discreet customer service are some aspects of private banking that can lead to the inherently high risk of money laundering in this business. Next, a variant of personal investment corporation accounts. It could increase the risk of the accounts being used for money laundering purposes that are owned through bearer shares. Bearer shares are negatable instruments with no record of ownership, so the title of the underlying entity is held essentially by anyone who possesses the bearer shares. In the context of potential illicit activity being conducted through an entity whose ownership is identified by bearer shares, it is virtually impossible for a banking organization to apply sound risk management procedures. It is included in identifying the account's beneficial owner. It is preferable if the financial institution physically keeps the bearer shares in custody for the beneficial owner. Furthermore, private bank customers who seek confidentiality for their transaction to make illegal transactions. It can be omnibus or concentration accounts. Omnibus or concentration accounts are a variation of suspend accounts and are legitimately used by banks, among other things, to hold funds temporarily until they can be credited to the proper account. However, such accounts can be used to purposefully break or confuse an audit trail by separating the source of the funds from the intended destination of the funds. This practice effectively prevents the association of the customers' names and accounts numbers with specific accounts activity and usually makes unusual transactions and flows that would otherwise be identified for further review. Lastly, a failure by private bank senior management. For example, the failure of management to obtain sufficiently detailed, accurate or up-to-date customer information or review this at an appropriately senior and independent level within the organization. Other than that, a lack of a means of monitoring customer transactions and failure in enforcing high ethical standards, particularly in relation to financial crime. It shows that private banks are relatively more vulnerable to money laundering because of this failure to manage.
My name is Bharati and my matrix number is 272904. Today I am going to present about the impact of money laundering on economy, society and banking. Based on economic sector, money laundering can affect the growth rate. Real sectors can suffer significantly from financial instability in the country. As a result, foreign investors have become crucial for companies. However, it isn't easy to attract foreign investors to the country in money laundering issues because the price instability caused by black money in the financial system will affect the credibility of the economy in external environment. Rational entrepreneurs will find it convenient to invest in the country because they will also consider the country's risks while investing. If the legal money escapes from entering the country, it will result in investment rates not increasing, so there will occur a long-term sustainable growth decline. One is based on society. Money laundering can lead to illegal activities. The fight against illegal activities is expensive, and government funds spent on implementing regulation and other crime-fighting policies are diverted from other areas of public spending such as health or education, so all of it lost. When money generated illegally, also called dirty money, is successfully claimed by criminals, it leads to more drugs, crime, violence and terrorist activities in an ever-increasing circle of criminality which draws more and more people into it. Large amount of funds can be made throughout illegal activities and not legitimate sources. Businesses that previously had a legitimate source of income as well as public and government employees might be pursued to jump on the criminal bandwagon to get a share of elite funds. Based on bank. Money laundering makes difficulties in estimating anti-money laundering costs. A bank is traditionally viewed as the pillar of economic success and a symbol of legitimate financial system in the public or private sector. Financial market has become direct or indirect victim of money laundering. The cost spent by bank combat money laundering has grown enormously due to the investment in modern software to identify money laundering transactions. The difficulty of estimating anti-money laundering costs is that costs are spread across several functions like operations, compliance, risk management, and more, involving direct and indirect costs. These features obscure the estimation of the cost level and assessment of past and future changes, which also impacts the quality of the information.
My name is Muhammad Aiman bin Jamaluddin and my matrix number is 272749. Okay, I will continue with impact money laundering on society. Okay, for the first point is human trafficking. Evidence sets are proving that criminals are trafficking humans at an increasing rate as it is deemed to be profitable venture. This has a major social impact, primarily on the victims of trafficking, as not only have they been taken from comfort, but often implicit in this crime is subsequent integration into the illegal trade market, with sex trade identified as a profitable endeavor for crime syndicates. Many victims are also provided goods by their offenders, which is then used to blackmail and maintain the power dynamic with another goods and service transaction. Okay, for the second point is corruption. The social impact of this is the diminishing legitimacy of the government, especially if knowingly involved, as they are supposed to uphold the intrinsic value of their society. It also has social implication on the market, as large countries can process a higher quantity of transactions, which allow for more frequent exploitation of loopholes, which are detrimental to business, consumers, and the market. Therefore, corruption strengthens the link between organized crime, politics, and society, impacting the very fabric of democracy and highlighting systemic inefficiency. The last point is drug dealing. There are only two industries which refer to their customer as users. One is technology and the other is illegal drugs trade. The meaning behind this quote, that human attention is a commodity fine to exploit, is the exact business model that organized crime employs. The selling of drugs, which is a consistently profitable business, subsequently has a huge impact on society given it perpetuates increased drug use. The United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime estimated the illicit drug trade is worth a retail value of $321 billion US, which they are state interferes with almost all levels of human security such as health and social and economic well-being for both state and individual. I think that's all for me. Thank you.
My name is Karunisa binti Azmi. My metric number is 272928. I will explain the regulation money laundering in private banking. The recommendation to prevent money laundering is to adopt anti-money laundering. The objectives of suitable anti-money laundering policies and procedures are to prevent the use of the bank's worldwide operation for criminal purposes and to protect the firm's reputation. Such policies and procedures are designed to mitigate the risk of money laundering and to cooperate with government and the agency in the detection of money laundering. Next, review requirements and processes for identifying source of wealth and source of funds. Consider the use of external due diligence reports and obtaining documentary verification from clients of the source of their wealth. This is particularly key where clients may have undertaken business activities in jurisdictions associated with higher levels of financial crime and/or corruption. Next, verify all beneficiaries of trust. Wealth management structures frequently involve a trust. A review of requirements and process to identify and verify all beneficiaries of trust should be undertaken following the revision of the definition of beneficial owners in the 2019 amendments to the money laundering regulations. Next, validated beneficial ownership structures. Where the client is a corporate structure, ensure that each layer of the ownership chain is understood up to the ultimate beneficial owner. Verification of the beneficial ownership structure should be undertaken on a risk-based approach from reliable sources including, but not solely based, registers of persons of significant control. Next, private banking must focus on tax. Understand the customer tax status, structures and asset health, and any tax planning that may involve the products and services provided. Besides, understand the risk of politically exposed person, where a client or ultimate beneficial owner of a client is a politically exposed person. Assess and document the nature of the role undertaken that lead to the political exposed person. Status, the corruption risk present from the type of the role and the jurisdiction it was undertaken in how the firm has mitigated those risks. Finally, document adverse media mitigation. Where client screening has identified adverse media coverage on client, consider the financial crime risk and document on how this risk has been mitigated. Taking proactive steps now to manage money laundering risk can put you in a good position. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Ismail Kamal. My metric number is 2779. So for today, I will present about the related case regarding to money laundering and private banking. So, I will present about the related case regarding to anti-money laundering rules. So, the first one is Dr. Hamimah Hidros, 55 years old. She was the first person in Malaysia to be charged for money laundering under the AMLA. She was alleged to have received money amounting to RM41.2 million through the account of Mega Breeze Sdn Bhd at an OCBC Bank branch in Damansara Utama. So, the next related case is by PPVS Ongsi Seng 2007 7CLJ 233. that is involved Abang Iskandar and Abang Hashim JC. ML is the new form of commercial crime that has just been codified as a criminal offense. It is a form of white-collar crime, although no physical violence will normally be associated with the penetration of this crime. The next one, I will tell about the related case by Gan Kiat Ban and Anno versus PPV Gan Kiat Ban and Anno 2011, CLJ 951 BCC, who own 2 parcel of land, enter into a 2.5 million SPA with a part-time property broker second A and himself. A and second A afterwards sold the lands to BNG Intertrade BG for 9 million. However, owing to fraud, land cannot be transferred. The amount paid to second A account is RM 8.4 million with the balance going to legal expense. Second, it stated that he had paid A and was left with RM 1.7 million out of RM 500,000 for personal reasons. Authorities had seized and frozen the remaining RM 1.2 million. The land really belongs to Rahim Enterprise Sdn Bhd, Tan Ai Hong, Tan Lian Hua and Infrovers Sdn Bhd, according to Pejabat Tanah and Galian Selangor.
Conclusion. Overall, we found that private banks have the risk of money laundering is relatively high in most of their businesses activities, and we also recognize the need to develop and implement AML system and controls to address areas of their businesses activities that are relatively vulnerable to money laundering. Due to the size of the market and the wealthy clients, it is more common for them to move large sums of money. Private banking is prime target for money launderers. There is no questioning the attractiveness of the high net worth environment that is private banking and wealth management to money launderers. We cannot allow the integrity of our banking system to be sullied by the dirty money that fuels the engine of criminal enterprises. Our banks must be vigilant in their efforts to detect and report criminal activity and avoid acting as conduits for money laundering.